Welcome everyone. Imagine this, it's Sunday evening, and you're lying in bed, unable to sleep. Your mind races with worries about tomorrow's presentation at work. You scroll through social media, seeing everyone else's perfect lives. Your heart pounds faster. You check your emails one more time. The anxiety builds. This feeling isn't new. 2,000 years ago, a Roman philosopher named Seneca felt the same pressures. He lived in one of history's most stressful times, serving as advisor to Emperor Nero, one of Rome's most unpredictable rulers. Every day brought political danger, social expectations, and constant uncertainty. Yet Seneca found peace. He discovered ways to calm his mind that still work today. His secret? 3 simple practices that anyone can use, anywhere, anytime. Let me share these with you. By the end of this video, you'll have practical tools to find your own inner calm, no matter how chaotic life becomes. First, let's understand who Seneca was. Born in 4 BC in Spain, he moved to Rome as a young man. He became a lawyer, writer, and eventually one of the most powerful men in the empire. But power didn't bring him peace. Instead, it brought constant stress and danger. Seneca was exiled twice. He faced death threats. He watched friends lose everything overnight. In this turbulent world, he turned to philosophy, specifically Stoicism. This ancient school of thought taught one core idea: we cannot control what happens to us, but we can control how we respond. Seneca wrote letters to his friend Lucilius, sharing his discoveries about living well. These letters weren't abstract theories. They were practical guides, born from real struggles. Today, we'll explore 3 of his most powerful techniques. The first way to find inner calm is what Seneca called premeditatio malorum. Don't worry about the Latin term. It simply means the premeditation of evils, or in modern language, imagining worst-case scenarios. Now, this might sound negative. Why would thinking about bad things bring you peace? Let me explain with a modern example. Imagine you're preparing for a job interview. Most people try to think only positive thoughts. They tell themselves, it will be fine. Don't worry. But the worry doesn't disappear. It lurks beneath the surface, growing stronger. Seneca suggested a different approach. Spend 5 minutes deliberately imagining what could go wrong. Picture yourself stumbling over answers. Imagine the interviewer looking unimpressed. See yourself not getting the job. Really feel it. What happens next is remarkable. Once you've faced these fears directly, they lose their power over you. You realize that even the worst outcome is survivable. You might think, if I don't get this job, I'll apply to others. I'll learn from the experience. Life will continue. This isn't pessimism. It's preparation. When you've already mentally rehearsed difficulty, you're not shocked when challenges appear. You're ready. Your mind stays calm because nothing catches you completely off guard. Seneca practiced this daily. Each morning, he would imagine losing his wealth, his position, even his life. This wasn't morbid. It was liberating. By accepting that these losses were possible, he stopped clinging desperately to what he had. He enjoyed his blessings while they lasted, but he wasn't destroyed by their absence. Try this yourself tonight. Before bed, spend 3 minutes imagining one thing you fear losing. Your job, a relationship, your health. Don't push the thoughts away. Examine them calmly. Ask yourself, if this happened, how would I cope? What would I do next? You'll probably discover you're stronger than you think. Most fears shrink when we face them directly. The second way to find inner calm is learning to focus only on what you can control. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." Most of our stress comes from worrying about things completely outside our power. Let's use a modern example. You're stuck in traffic, late for an important meeting. You grip the steering wheel tighter. Your jaw clenches. You check the time repeatedly. Your stress levels soar. But ask yourself, can you control the traffic? No. Can you make the cars ahead disappear? No. Can you turn back time? Obviously not. So why is your body responding as if you could change these things? This is what Seneca called wasted energy. He taught a simple practice: divide everything into two categories. Things you can control, and things you cannot. Then, invest your energy only in the first category. In the traffic situation, what can you control? You can control your breathing. You can choose to listen to calming music or an interesting podcast. You can send a quick message explaining you'll be late. You can decide to use this time for reflection instead of frustration. These small choices transform your experience. The external situation hasn't changed, but your internal state has completely shifted. This is the essence of Stoic wisdom. Seneca lived this principle during his exile. He was banished to Corsica, a harsh island far from Rome's comforts. He couldn't control his exile. But he could control his response. Instead of spending 8 years in misery, he studied philosophy, wrote extensively, and deepened his understanding of life. He wrote to his mother, "I am not unhappy because I have lost everything, but happy because I have found myself." His circumstances were terrible, but his mind remained free. How can you apply this today? Start by noticing when you feel stressed. Pause and ask, what exactly am I trying to control right now? Write it down. Then ask, is this actually within my control? You'll be surprised how often the answer is no. You're worrying about what others think of you. That's not controllable. You're anxious about tomorrow's weather. Not controllable. You're stressed about the economy, politics, or global events. Not controllable. This doesn't mean you don't care about these things. It means you redirect your energy toward your actual sphere of influence. You can control your own actions, your effort, your integrity, your kindness. Focus there, and watch your stress decrease dramatically. The third way to find inner calm is practicing what Seneca called voluntary discomfort. This means deliberately choosing difficulty when you don't have to. Again, this might sound strange. Why would you make life harder? Here's the wisdom behind it. We're most anxious about losing our comforts. We fear poverty, hunger, cold, or social rejection. These fears control us, making us desperate to maintain our current lifestyle. We take jobs we hate because we fear losing our comfortable home. We stay in unhealthy relationships because we fear being alone. Seneca discovered that the best way to overcome these fears is to experience mild versions of them voluntarily. He would occasionally eat simple food, wear plain clothes, or sleep on a hard floor. He'd ask himself, is this the condition I so feared? The answer was always revealing. The discomfort was manageable. Sometimes it was even refreshing. By proving to himself that he could survive without luxury, he freed himself from the fear of losing it. Modern examples of this practice are everywhere, though we rarely recognize them as philosophy. When you go camping, leaving behind your comfortable bed and modern conveniences, you're practicing voluntary discomfort. When you fast for health or spiritual reasons, you're doing what Seneca recommended. When you take a cold shower, you're training your mind to handle difficulty. The benefits are profound. First, you build genuine confidence. You know from experience that you can handle hardship. This isn't positive thinking or empty affirmations. It's tested reality. You've been cold, hungry, or uncomfortable, and you survive just fine. Second, you develop gratitude. After sleeping on the floor for one night, your regular bed feels like a luxury. After fasting, simple food tastes incredible. Voluntary discomfort makes you appreciate what you have instead of constantly wanting more. Third, you reduce fear. Most anxiety comes from imagining worst-case scenarios we've never actually experienced. When you voluntarily experience mild versions of difficulty, the unknown becomes known. The monster in the shadows becomes a manageable challenge. Seneca wrote, "Set aside a certain number of days, during which you shall be content with the scantiest and cheapest fare, with coarse and rough dress, saying to yourself, 'Is this the condition that I feared?'" How can you practice this? Start small. Once a week, try one of these exercises. Skip a meal and notice how you feel. Take a cold shower instead of a warm one. Leave your phone at home for an entire day. Wear your oldest, simplest clothes. Sleep without your usual pillow. During these experiences, pay attention to your thoughts. Notice that you're okay. You're not suffering terribly. You're discovering your own resilience. This knowledge is incredibly calming because you realize you need less than you thought to be content. Now, let's bring these three practices together. Seneca wasn't teaching these techniques in isolation. They work together as a complete system for inner peace. When you regularly imagine worst-case scenarios, you prepare your mind for reality. When you focus only on what you can control, you stop wasting energy on the impossible. When you practice voluntary discomfort, you prove to yourself that you can handle whatever comes. The result? A deep, unshakable calm that doesn't depend on external circumstances. This is what Seneca called tranquillitas, or tranquility of mind. It's not the absence of problems. It's the presence of inner stability regardless of what's happening around you. Seneca's life tested these principles to their limit. After years of political service, he was eventually ordered by Emperor Nero to commit suicide. This was the ultimate test. How would he face death itself? Historical accounts tell us he faced it with remarkable calm. He comforted his grieving friends. He spoke philosophically about the nature of life and death. He had spent decades preparing for this moment through his daily practices. When it arrived, he was ready. You might think, "That's impressive, but my problems are different. I'm not facing exile or execution. I'm just stressed about work, relationships, and daily life." But that's exactly the point. If these practices worked for Seneca in the most extreme circumstances, they'll certainly work for your challenges too. The beauty of Stoic philosophy is its practicality. You don't need special equipment, expensive courses, or years of training. You need only your own mind and the willingness to practice. Let me give you a simple daily routine combining all three practices. It takes just 15 minutes. Every morning, spend 5 minutes imagining one thing that could go wrong today. Your meeting might not go well. Someone might criticize you. You might make a mistake. Feel the discomfort, then ask yourself how you'd handle it. This is your mental preparation. Next, spend 5 minutes reviewing your day ahead. For each activity or worry, ask, is this within my control? If yes, plan your action. If no, consciously let it go. Write down what you'll focus on and what you'll release. This clarifies your energy investment. Finally, spend 5 minutes doing something slightly uncomfortable. Stretch until it hurts a little. Hold a cold object. Sit in an uncomfortable position. Skip your morning coffee. These small discomforts train your mind to handle bigger ones. This builds your resilience. That's it. 15 minutes that can transform your entire day. Seneca spent decades developing these practices, but you can start benefiting from them immediately. Of course, like any skill, these techniques improve with practice. The first time you try to imagine worst-case scenarios, you might feel more anxious, not less. The first time you try to let go of uncontrollable things, your mind might rebel. The first cold shower might feel unbearable. This is normal. You're training mental muscles you've never used before. Seneca himself admitted that philosophy was a lifelong practice, not a destination. He wrote, "I am not a wise man, nor shall I ever be. But I am trying." The trying is what matters. Each day you practice, you get a little better at managing your mind. Each time you face a fear, you become slightly more courageous. Each moment you focus on what you can control, you waste less energy on the impossible. Over time, you'll notice changes. Situations that used to trigger intense anxiety now feel manageable. Problems that seemed overwhelming now appear as simple challenges to address. Your baseline level of calm increases, even when life gets chaotic. You'll also notice something else. As your inner calm grows, your external life often improves too. When you're not controlled by fear, you make better decisions. When you focus energy wisely, you accomplish more. When you're resilient to discomfort, you take risks that lead to growth. This isn't magic. It's the natural result of mental clarity. Seneca wrote, "The mind that is anxious about future events is miserable." When you free yourself from constant anxiety, you free yourself to live fully in the present moment. And the present moment is where life actually happens. Not in your worries about tomorrow or regrets about yesterday. Right now, in this moment, you have everything you need to be calm. Let me share one final insight from Seneca that ties everything together. He wrote, "True happiness is to enjoy the present, without anxious dependence upon the future, not to amuse ourselves with either hopes or fears but to rest satisfied with what we have, which is abundantly sufficient." Read that again slowly. Rest satisfied with what we have, which is abundantly sufficient. This is the ultimate secret to inner calm. Not getting more, but recognizing that what you already have is enough. Your breath is enough to sustain you. Your mind is enough to solve your problems. Your resilience is enough to handle difficulty. When you truly understand this, anxiety loses its grip. You stop chasing endlessly and start living peacefully. So here's your practical application, the way to use this philosophy today. Tonight, before you sleep, practice all three techniques in sequence. First, spend 3 minutes imagining one thing you fear. Really examine it. How would you cope? You'll likely discover you're more capable than you realized. Second, write down 3 things you're worried about. Next to each one, write whether it's controllable or not. For the controllable items, write one action you'll take tomorrow. For the uncontrollable items, write, I release this. Third, do something uncomfortable for just 2 minutes. Take a cold shower. Sit in silence without your phone. Skip dessert. Prove to yourself that you can handle temporary discomfort. That's it. 10 minutes total. But those 10 minutes connect you to wisdom that has helped people find peace for 2,000 years. From Seneca in ancient Rome to you, right now, in your modern life. The circumstances change. The technology evolves. But the human mind remains the same. The anxieties Seneca felt are the anxieties you feel. And the solutions that worked for him will work for you too. Inner calm isn't about having a perfect life. It's about having a trained mind. A mind that prepares for difficulty, focuses on what matters, and proves its own strength through practice. This is the gift Seneca offers us across the centuries. The question is, will you accept it? Will you take these ancient practices and make them your own? Will you spend just 15 minutes a day training your mind for tranquility? The choice, as Seneca would remind you, is entirely within your control. And that's exactly where your power lies.